Welcome, everybody. My name is Lynn Schuessler Williams. I'm excited to be your host tonight on this July 1st, 2020 Success Partners International Training Zoom. We are just so fired up today in LegalShield. It's a historic day, lots of great announcements, and we start every Success Partners call with our signature message. I feel like we should shout it from the rooftops and announce this, because each and every person on this team can say, I am part of a growing team of entrepreneurs with a shared mission to protect and empower 2 million families and small businesses with LegalShield's network of law firms and world-class identity theft services. What we do matters, and we're looking for help. And with that, I get to turn the Zoom over tonight to a gentleman who I'm very grateful to call friend. He's a leader to all of us, a trainer extraordinaire, a coach, Mr. Timmer Halligan. The Zoom is yours.
Well, thank you so much, Lynn. Truly, truly appreciate you. And man, you make me sound so good. And just really love to hear it. So we could do that one more time if you wanted to. No, just kidding. But seriously, Lynn, truly, truly appreciate you and all that you do for this team. And, you know, each and every person that's on this Zoom tonight, you know, we're here for a reason. And that reason is your reason, whatever it is. You know, we all have different reasons why we are in LegalShield. You know, so many of us, it's about the membership and that is where it should be, is with the membership, because what we do truly matters. You know, every time I listen to, you know, our signature message, and, you know, that's a question for each and every one of us. Do you know the signature message? Could you recite it without having to read it? Because when you can recite it without having to read it, it comes from a different place. You know, when you're reading something, it's coming from a piece of paper. When you're reciting something, especially when you say it with conviction and with passion, it's coming from the heart. And that's what this membership and this business truly, truly is all about. When you're looking to achieve the type of success that each and every one of us truly deserves. I really, really mean that. You know, tonight, what we're going to talk about is, you know, a couple things. We're going to talk about the announcements today. And, you know, the announcements were fantastic, right? They really, really were. But an announcement is only as good as the activity that goes along with it. What we're going to spend a little bit of time talking about to kick tonight off, because again, this is a time during the year that you can truly put your stake in the ground and say, listen, I'm ready to make some changes. You know, it is the beginning of the second half of 2020. And it's that for every single one of us. Again, it comes down to, what do you look at when you take a look at the second half of anything? You know, I think about in a basketball game or in a football game, and, you know, you get through the first half. The first half is really designed to let you know what you need to do in the second half. You know, if you're winning in the first half, what do you got to do in the second half to maintain the lead? If you're not winning going into halftime, what do you got to do to go out there and be able to defeat your opponent, right? That's what it's ultimately about. I mean, athletes go out on the field to win. That's what they do. They go out to win. I never ever walked into a tennis match and said, man, today I am looking forward to not giving my best. I'm really looking forward to shaking that guy's hand afterwards and saying, you beat me today. And believe me, I hated that worse than anything you could imagine. But here's what I always said to myself whenever I finished a match, even when I got beat. Now, there's a difference between getting beat and losing. Getting beat means you just went out there and you left it all on the court, you left it all on the field, you left it all on the course, you know, whatever it is that you're playing. But when you lose, you don't give your best. And anybody who's ever played in sports, I don't care who you are, and well, I was going to say Michael Jordan, but even him sometimes, I'm sure at some point didn't go out and give his best, and he lost. And as an athlete or anyone who's, you know, striving for anything of significance, that is not the feeling that you want to have. You want the feeling that, you know what, when you go to bed each and every night, you can say to yourself, I gave my absolute best today in whatever arena you're in, whether you're in the corporate boardroom, whether or not you're on the athletic field, or whether or not you're working your LegalShield business. And now notice it says reset, refocus, restart. It doesn't say anything about the amount of time that you've got to give, right? See, that's the one thing I want everyone to understand, is that the less time you have to really focus on your business, the more you have to really focus on your business. So we're going to talk about resetting, refocusing, and restarting. And anytime I'm ever going to reset, refocus, or restart, I always go back to the basics, because the basics are what set the foundation for success. The basics are what give us that consistency and ability to be able to excel in what it is that we're doing. So we're going to talk a little bit about the basics. And number one is that we've got to make the decision, right? We got to make the decision that we want to do better. We've got to make the commitment that we're going to go and do the things that we need to do. And then we've got to go out and we've got to execute. And, as it says right here, a lot of times we're all saying to ourselves, it is time for me to make a change. It's time to become who you deserve to be. But it's never, ever going to be handed to you. Today I was watching my daughter play tennis, and she's out there and she's getting frustrated, and she looks at me and she says, I need help. And I'm like, okay, cool. I go on the court and I go to help her. I give her all the exact same things to do that she needs to do to beat the opponent that she's out there playing at that particular moment. But she wasn't in the right mindset. She didn't make the decision that she really wanted to come back and win the match. She didn't make the commitment to sticking with the plan that was given to her. And she wasn't in the mindset to be able to execute. So you can be given all the right information, like the announcements that we had today. You can be given all the right information, but you've got to be committed to the execution. And you know what? You got to be a warrior when you're out there. I mean, you got to think, I am going to push through whatever it is that I need to do to be able to get to the other side, right? I remember the great Dave Savola. He used to always talk about, on the football field, because he was a football coach. And he always said, why the middle of the field is always the most torn up part of the field? Because that's where average people hang out. If you ever look at a football field at the end, if it's not artificial turf, right in the center of the field, you see a lot of dirt, because that's where average people hang out. He said, you ever take a look at the end zone? The end zone is never worn out. The end zone always has the cleanest grass, because that's where you score. That's where you win. And so you take a look at in LegalShield, right? And in anything that you want to get accomplished in life. I don't care if you want to be the best husband, you want to be the best father, you want to be the best wife, you want to be the best at anything that you do. You've got to have that burning desire to want to be successful. Listen, it is not easy to do that. And again, it doesn't say you have to have a burning desire for success 40 hours a week. It says you got to have a burning desire for success. See, I have heard so many times, when people are either going to start this business or they're in this business, and they say, what, right now I don't have the time, so I'm just going to put it on hold. There's no reason to put it on hold. It just means you have to narrow the amount of time that you're putting into your business. But in that period of time, you've got that desire to be successful. You're willing to put in the work. I've spoken many, many times, in front of folks, and talked about, we all have the ability to be better. We are all capable of being better, but do we have that willingness to put in the work? And then number 3 is that we've got to be coachable. So tonight, is absolutely one of those moments to be coachable. You know, I've always said there's a difference between being coachable and teachable. See, you can teach a dog how to do tricks. You can teach them to roll over, and you can teach them to stand up on their back legs, and you can, you know, give them a treat, and they're going to do all those little things that you want them to do. Coachables, when you can actually get inside their soul and you can get in there and get them to make changes that are for the better. You know, like this today, when I'm talking to my daughter, she was fully capable of letting go of what was going on. She was fully capable of listening to what was told to her, and she was totally capable of taking that advice and implementing it because it was the recipe for success. Here's what you need to do. You got to take the ball. You got to hit it here. You got to hit it here 3 or 4 times in a row. It's got to clear the net 8 to 10 feet because that's where you're going to find the weakness on your opponent. And on the very next ball, line drive 6 inches over the net. Maybe you can make that twice. You definitely can't make it 4 or 5 times in a row. That's called frustration. And so many times we get frustrated with ourselves, and that's when we got to step back. There's no reason to get frustrated with ourselves. The only time to get frustrated with yourself is when you need to look in the mirror and say, hey, time to get my head out of my behind and start to get myself doing the right stuff. And so we've always talked about those things, you know, and I've been using this that Mr. Drennan gave us. He talks about it all the time, you know, those 3 legs of success. But they've changed a little bit. And that's why I wanted to put some focus on them. The concepts haven't changed, but maybe where we're showing up, what right now is the activity specifically. And of course, personal development never goes away. And I was interviewing a lady yesterday that had just lost her job down with the United States Tennis Association because they're doing a lot of downsizing right now because of COVID. And, you know, one of the greatest questions that she asked me at the end, I said, you got any questions? And her question was, where do you stand in regard to personal development? What do you do for the folks that are here on staff to be able to help them to become better? And you know, it was so great because of LegalShield. Here's what I said. I said to her, well, I've been here about 6 months or so. And let me tell you some of the things that we've done. So far, our entire team has read Good to Great by Jim Collins and focused on what we need to do to take the organization to go from good to great. I said, next, we all read How to Win Friends and Influence People in a Digital Age, because your ability to be able to speak to customers when, you know, they're coming at you from every single direction. You know, when you're in the world of running private clubs, you know, members run the clubs, at least they think they run the clubs, and you've got to allow them to think that way. You've got to listen to what they're saying. You've got to take it all in, and then you've got to be able to make a comment that is favorable to what they want to hear. And the next one that we're currently reading right now is 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. And she said, you know what? She goes, that's the kind of organization I'm looking for. And that was the first time in all my years interviewing someone that they actually asked, what do you do in regard to personal development and encouraging your staff to do so? So that was quite awesome. And so we take a look at, you know, this showing up piece. And you want to take a look at this showing up, and you want to understand, what does that mean in our new normal that we are in? Because it's changed, right? For example, you know, the content hasn't changed much, but the wording may have. See, this has been the same slide I've used for a long, long time, and a couple things have changed. You know, it used to say team call 30 minutes, and that's on Sunday evenings at 8 p.m. Central Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Now it says Team Zoom. See, now we have this ability to interact and get more face-to-face. You know, we always talk about high tech meeting high touch. Well, this is great. I mean, we got to all check in tonight, got to see everybody, at least those that wanted to be seen. And, you know, that's such a different way to do things. You know, we have our team training Zoom. That's what we're on right now. That's where we are every single Wednesday night. Now we've got our daily Zoom. See, it used to say right there, it used to say right there that you've got your weekly briefing. Well, we don't have weekly briefings anymore. We now have daily Zooms that we do each and every day. This team does one every single day at 12:30 p.m. Eastern time and 8 p.m. Eastern time each and every night. Now, this is where we have to step up on the showing up, guys. I'm just going to say it. I've been jumping on a lot of team Zooms lately just to see what's happening in other teams. And one thing I can say about our team, and I want everyone to take this the right way. We got the most professional Zooms, but we need to pick up the attendance on our Zooms. We got 35 people on here right now. We should have 60 to 70. How do we do that? We promote this team Zoom with our team, because the more you have your team on these team training Zooms, the more your team is going to grow. When we have these daily Zooms every single day, you got to be on at least one of them a day, guys. That's all I'm going to tell you. You have to be, if you want growth in your business, you got to be on one a day, every day. Pick one. You want to really go pick two, right? And be on them both. And you got to invite folks. The leadership show, that stayed consistent, right? Today's was incredible. We're going to talk more about that in just a second. Monday Night Momentum is no more. That shouldn't be on this slide, but that's something that we used to do. And that was something that when we had Monday Night Momentum, where the company focused every Monday night on getting the right things done, now you've got daily Zooms and daily calls that Darnell Self does. I don't have those times in front of me, but it's to help build momentum. Monthly, you've got a Super Saturday once a month. Now, this month, we have the North American Super Saturday. Every single LegalShield associate is going to be there to invite people to come out and learn about our company. Look for the details, because they're going to come out. But, when they talked about today on our leadership show, was that they wanted to get 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 people. Imagine inviting your guests to this event where they see 300, 400, 500, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 people all talking about what LegalShield is all about, and the momentum and the energy that can come out of that. So make sure you set aside Saturday, July 11th, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. We've got our annual events. We're still on the books right now for Charlotte, right? Still scheduled to be in Charlotte, but here's what we know. If somehow, because of this COVID-19 virus, we're not in Charlotte, we have the ability to do it live streaming, because we did it at our international convention once before, and it was absolutely tremendous. We've also usually got a second event, a leadership event for about 3 days. That is your showing up. Now, notice I put down below the stretch call with a question mark. That's where you got to answer that question for yourself. Everything else that I have just talked about is the recipe for success in LegalShield. See, I look at the stretch call. That's like the cherry that's on top of the sundae, or that's the whipped cream. Some people like it, some people don't. But let me tell you, those that actually put the whipped cream and the cherry on makes the sundae, in my opinion, so much better. But that's a choice call. Everything else, in my mind, it's a mandatory call. So you want to make sure that you're on all of the events that we're talking about, right here. So here's as we talk about the announcements that came out today. This is the letter that I received, talking about the trip to the Riviera Maya. See, we were supposed to be going next week, but you can see right here, it says, during these uncertain times, the health and safety of our associates is of the utmost importance in everything we do. This is why, with much thought and with a best practices approach, we decided to postpone the 2020 summer getaway until January 3rd through the 7th. Now, let me tell you, I was excited about that. Mexico in July sounds great. Mexico in January sounds even better. Now, why am I bringing this up? Because one of the announcements today was this I'm fired up for performance club. And it says, launch your business into overdrive, get fired up, earn cash bonuses when you PC or PC Pro qualify by July 10th. Plus, you and a guest could win one of 3 all expense paid trips to Riviera Maya. Now, there's 2 things that people are thinking right now. And number one is that person that says, holy cow, that's incredible. I want to take that chance and I want to get there. Then there's another person that's saying, how am I going to win if they're only drawing 3 people? Well, I just think of Brenda Daniels. How does she win every time we have a summer blast? I remember when she won the iPad. I remember when she won the trip to the Virgin Islands. And all you have to do is get your tickets in the hopper, and then you got a chance. And see, here's the thing about this type of incentive. It is July 1st through the 10th. So you are going to get, I'm going to guesstimate 50% or more, probably closer to 70%, are not going to participate in July 1st through the 10th. They're just not. So in my mind, the chances of winning are significant when you've got a deadline like the 1st to the 10th, because that requires activity. Now, here's the way you do it. So it says if you go out, you write a minimum of $60 worth of new premium, and you add 1 associate, well, you're going to get a $100 bonus. So you get an extra $100 for getting PC 90 done between now and the 10th. Now, then you write $120 worth of new membership premium. So let's just say 3 family memberships, add 1 new associate, and now you're going to get 1 in the hopper. That's what's great about this too, guys, is that, you know, they're keeping it where you've got an opportunity to get 1 in the hopper or 3 in the hopper. So you can't get 40 in the hopper. The most you can get is 3. So now everybody has a chance with just maximum of 3 tickets that are in there. Because if you write $240 worth of member premium and you add 2 new associates, you're going to get a $300 bonus. Now that $300 bonus is on top of your performance club bonus. So you've already got performance club done. In this situation, you've already got 90 points that are carried over, and you're only at the 10th of the month, and you get 3 entries into the trip. So here's what I want you to think about for just a second, okay? Think about who you would take on the trip. Think about that right now. If you won the trip, who would you take? Now I want you to think about going to that person right now and saying, hey, I have an opportunity to have a chance for us to go to the Riviera Maya in January. Hopefully after all this craziness is done, everybody's been on quarantine. I have a chance, an opportunity to give us a chance to go, but I'm not going to take it. I'm not going to do the work. But I wanted you to know that we do have this opportunity that we could go to the Riviera Maya, but I'm not going to take that chance. It's kind of like I used to say to myself whenever I didn't want to make a phone call, whenever somebody told me no and it kind of frustrated me, and I got frustrated and I didn't do what I needed to do next, I'd say to myself, Timmer, why don't you go tell your kids right now that you're not going to put in the work for them? You're not going to work so that you can pay the electric bill. You're not going to work so that you can get them new clothes. You're not going to work so they got a car. You're going to sit and pout in your room because somebody told you no or didn't show up, or, you know, they canceled their membership and I couldn't understand why. Whatever the thing is, you got to say to yourself that with this person in regard to this trip. You have to, guys, because otherwise you'll get caught saying things. So if you say you don't want to go tell that person that you would take that I'm not going to try. And you just get the elephant out of the room and just go do it. Don't blame the company. Don't blame the chances weren't there. Don't blame, oh my gosh, you know, they're stacked against me. No, it's not. We all have the exact same opportunity, right? Then we see Ladies of Justice. They've got themselves another incentive this month. And it's about the top 10 producers recruiting, you know, that PC qualify by the 10th. Everything's around the 10th. So if you do what's going on in the Ladies of Justice, And gentlemen, I've been seeing more and more guys that are winning stuff, and ladies of justice, they get cool stuff over there, right? Nice scarf that you can win, nice cool portable charger for your phone. I mean, those are some cool things. But see, these are all just incentives to get us to go out and do the things we're already supposed to do. So those are some of the announcements today. Now, I think one of the greatest announcements, and some of y'all may not have seen the new websites that we have, because so many people got them out today. You know, on the call, they said today, get as many people as you can. I saw people on Facebook telling hey, do me a favor, check out my new website, check out my new website. And guess what? We crashed the new website and the technology behind it. So they kind of put it back on hold. But I did get a couple minutes to open up my website and take a look at it. Listen, we've been asking for new websites for a long, long time. The new websites that you have at your .we are Legal Shield, they are cleaner. They look so professional, right? They got no lines going all throughout them. I mean, they're like the site that the corporate office had, that a lot of people are saying, we want that site right there. It's got more videos that are in there that are right there that people can click. You know, ours was just static, right? You looked at it, it's like, okay, buy a legal plan, enroll as an associate. This has got some vibrancy to it. It's got lots of white in it and different purples and, you know, all kinds of stuff. So there's a lot more videos in there. It's got access to all the blogs. See, all the content that LegalShield has been pushing out, that all too often we're like, man, that looks amazing. Oh, I'd love to be able to send this, but it came from LegalShield, not from us in the field. Well, now all these blogs, all this information is all tied to us, so we can send people info from our sites. They've got the profiles for success right there on the website. So if you've got a prospect or somebody, you can actually go to the profiles for success. You could send them over an article about that person who may be in that profession that they're currently in. You could shoot it, again, all attributed back to you. It is much easier in the way that I was viewing it today. I was only on it for about 15, 20 minutes, but much easier to enroll. Like right on the front page, you just say, add to my cart. I want to buy a LegalShield. I want to be, you know, they've got this business builder tab. It looks so cool. It's for brand new associates, right? So when you go to this business builder tab and you tell a brand new associate, this is where they got to go, it sends them there to get the LegalShield, the ID Shield, the home-based business router, and the opportunity with one click of a button, it goes to the cart. Now you're getting people prepared to properly run their business. So the new websites, they'll announce in the next, I don't know, whenever they get everything back up and running, could be tonight, could be tomorrow, but they look amazing. So if you didn't see it earlier, sorry, I got to see mine and it looks amazing. Now, this 2-a-day challenge, right? This is something I think we all need to take seriously. And here's why I know we all have to take it seriously, because I see what other teams are doing. You know, the 2-a-day challenge is, let me get 60 people into Prospect by LegalShield every month. 2 a day, every day, 60 people in Prospect by LegalShield. 40 of them have to opt in, and they give away twice a month. They do giveaways and give away 10 awesome little gifts, right? It's not about the gift. It's about the habit that is created by getting 2 a day in. I have not been focusing on this. Shame on me. Absolutely foolish. I know if I got 2 a day into Prospect by LegalShield, Performance Club would come so much easier. Why do I know that? Because I used to do it. And then I got busy, and then I got distracted, and then I got pulled away, and then I said, well, I'll just write their name on this piece of paper, and I wasn't consistent with it. So I'm going to get consistent with it, and I encourage you to do the same. We got some new tools that are out in Prospect by LegalShield, guys, like this little life stages getting married guide video, right? It's a cool little 2-minute video. If you notice, in Prospect by LegalShield, if you haven't been there, like if you haven't been to prospectbylegalshield.com on your desktop, you know, where you can see all the different graphs and everything, it looks so much cleaner, so much better. You know, remember how you used to try and figure out how to find everything there? Now they got it all broken up really, really nicely. I can find exactly what I want, but there's all kinds of new little tools. Like, this is that life stages getting married video. And, what it does is it's a short little video, and talks about, when you're getting married and what do you need to work on and what are the things that you need to have an attorney for. And you got to review contracts when you're, setting up, things with the dance hall and the reception hall and everything else. And it's got this little life stages guide, which is a PDF that you can send over to people. They're continuing to put stuff in there. How do you not know it's in there? Because you're not using Prospect by LegalShield enough. How did I not know it was in there? I wasn't using Prospect by LegalShield enough. But when I went in there today and started looking through it, I'm like, holy cow, there are so many cool new tools inside of Prospect by LegalShield. And you think about this Pivot 2020 that we're making, that Mr. Drennan brought to us to be able to create momentum. It says use Prospect with your prospects. So this 2-a-day challenge and knowing about all these things, it's not always easy to do because you get distracted, but it is so worth it. I'm going to finish up right now with this quote that I saw that Mr. Darnell Self had today. I saw it over on the LegalShield, and it just made such sense because I've lived in this. And it says, the no's in business that used to paralyze me started to motivate me. The no's in the business that used to paralyze me started to motivate me. Guys, the worst that could happen is that somebody says to us, no. That's as bad as it gets. But we let that no impact us so much when it comes to our LegalShield business. Why does it hurt so much when you get a no in LegalShield? You get no's all the time in life. Think about when you got married, or when you had a birthday party for your kids, or a birthday party for your husband, or a retirement party for your wife. You invited people to come take a look, to join you in the celebration, and they didn't come. But you didn't say, that's it, I'm throwing down the party, nobody else. You didn't stop inviting that person. If I invited somebody for my wedding and they couldn't come, and then I had a birthday party coming up, I'd invite them again. And then if they had something else, they couldn't come, next time I had a big event, I would invite them again. So right now you got to make the decision, the commitment, and then go into execution mode to be able to bring your plan, bring your plan to fruition. You deserve it. Your family deserves it. You deserve the opportunity for that trip. You absolutely deserve the opportunity for the trip. If you've never been on it, call Lynn Schuessler-Williams and ask her what it was like to take her husband on that trip. Call John Drennan, ask him what it was like to be able to, take his wife on that trip. Call Lee Perry and say, hey, what was it like to take Edsel on that trip? Call my wife. Call my parents who I took on their 50th wedding anniversary. Call my dad, say, what was it like to go on that trip with your son? It's worth the effort. And let me tell you, what's the worst that could happen? You don't win, but let me tell you what, you got momentum in your LegalShield business. How cool would it be to have momentum and win the trip? But also, how cool would it be just to have momentum because you tried to win the trip? Listen, folks, second half of 2020, absolutely right there for you to seize it. It's right there for you to focus on. It's right there for you to grab everything that you deserve and desire. Everybody have a fantastic night. Peace.
Thank you, Timma.